an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are with one of the most endangered animals on the planet, and we're following them as they hunt through the African bush. This is Safari Live.
Confirm you're going live.
No way! The big male baboon's chasing her. Remember, you are watching this live.
What did you see?
We've got to be quite careful with these guys.
Unfortunately, I think this is the end.
You have your fire!
Look at the nose!
There's a herd of zebra. This is the most epic thing in the world, ever.
Good morning, and welcome back to the verdant green African summer for the 5th of 8 live safaris brought to you from 8.5 million acres of contiguous wildlife wonderland. Dawn broke about half an hour ago, crimson and carmine, and the honeyed sun has just broken through the clouds. My name is James Henry, and I'm going to be talking to you from my little tent. We have a microscope, we have a rover, we have a whole lot of interesting little things to show you. But far more important is you. You're the most important part of what we do here, and hashtag Safari Live is the best and indeed only way for you to get hold of us. Now, I must tell you that we had a slightly uncomfortable incident during the week. We found a dead carrier pigeon with a small question attached to its left foot. No carrier pigeons, please. Hashtag Safari Live is the only way to get hold of us on Twitter. Let's have a slightly closer look at where we are in the world. We find ourselves at the southern tip of the African continent, the northeast corner of South Africa, the world's most beautiful country, and there is that 8.5 million acre wilderness that I told you about. Now, last week we spent for the first time on our 8-part series. We spent time with the royal family, and they played and produced some wonderful, wonderful stuff. Then we spent time with our 3 male lions who did what lions do best. That is absolutely nothing. And Stef drank water that he'd filtered through his sock. It was disgusting. Without further ado, let us head straight back to Brent, Leo Smith and those magnificent wild dogs.
Look at this. Now, these are the most difficult animal to follow through the bush. They are my favorite animal. I am so excited to be with them. Remember, this is a live African safari, and this is the painted wolf, or the African wild dog, one of the most endangered animals on the planet. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I've got my incredible cameraman with me, Brian Joubert, and his hard-working thumb, and we're going to do our best to stay with these incredible hounds. Now, they're going through some very thick bush, which makes it very difficult for us, and they can move through this incredibly thick bush at an incredible speed, up to about 35 miles an hour, and they can keep that up for up to 7 or 8 miles when they're hunting. So we are going to try duck and dive and wind our way through the bush to keep with them. I can't promise we're going to be able to, but I really hope. They're also such incredibly successful hunters that they might turn up a little antelope or an impala, and we could be witness to a live kill. There are 14. Oh, there we go. You see they've split. There's one still left. I need to try to see where the other's going. There's a very big little ravine next to me. There we go. They've onto something. Something chased them. It looks like a warthog. They got chased by a warthog. Let's get in a bit closer. So it looks like now a warthog can be really fearsome. Big tusks, and a big warthog boar can prove a bit too difficult for the dogs. So they approached. There's a big termite mound right there, just to the right of them, and a big warthog boar charged out and grunted at them. And you can see how their ears are up and they're looking straight towards it now. And the risk isn't probably worth the reward in trying to tackle a massive big warthog. He's reclined back into his hole. Now, these little ones right there are really, really, really curious. And they are about 7 or 8 months old, so they're still learning the ropes out here in the bush. Now, a very good morning to Maggie and Jared. And they would like to know how many wild dogs are left in the Kruger. Well, there are only about 300 wild dogs left in the whole 8.5 million acres that we call the Greater Kruger, that we're privileged enough to live in. So very, very few. Now, as I said, they're one of the most endangered creatures in the world. Oh, and this is why I love them so much. There was a little call. There we go. There's an antelope running. Now they're going off, and you can just see the incredible speed they disappear at. So the adult dogs are leading. We're going to try and stick with some of the babies at the back, because we're never going to keep up with one of the big adults as she goes. Hold on, everyone. Okay, they're running parallel to me. I'm keeping up with them as best I can. I'm keeping some of those young ones just in visual. And I'm trying to follow a nice big elephant path where it's a bit easier for me to scoot through the bush. There we go, we've caught up with them. Or one of them, and you'll notice this particular one has a collar on its neck. And the reason for that is there's a lot of research and that is done to try get these animals' numbers back up. Well, here come the rest of the pack. This is just too exciting. This is the most incredible animal out here for me personally. And the painted wolf, they are absolutely gorgeous. And now they are being a bit naughty. They're going to a spot where I think we might have a bit of trouble trying to keep up with them. But we will. Now, let's just have one last look as they disappear into this ravine, and I try to find a way around. Look at them, they're all around us. Okay, as you can see, there they go. Isn't this? I'm going to try my best. Ravine where.
Oh, if anybody can follow those dogs, Brent can, but we do apologize for his sudden disappearance. I think the chase proved to be a little bit too much, but remember, this is a live safari that you are on, so absolutely anything can happen. My name is Jamie, and this morning VM is bringing you the incredible images of this exquisite leopard family. What an amazing start. We've got a leopard cub right up in the tree next to us. He decided to come and climb up into the tree just above our vehicle. How incredibly special is that? Don't forget, on your live safari here from the heart of the Greater Kruger National Park, you can send through any questions that you would like to ask. Yes, you goof, what you up to? Send through any questions you would like to ask, and you can do that using the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. And as I said, a spectacular beginning to your 2-hour live safari. Wild dogs with Brent, and Brent gets almost as excited about wild dogs as wild dogs themselves. And the royal family, a beautiful trio of leopards. This is Hosanna, the young male, few days until his very first birthday, and the family of leopards that has essentially become the stars of our safari series. They have treated us to some truly incredible sightings with them, and I think this morning promises to be no different. Look at this. He's right up above us. This is his choice to come to us. Oh, oopsie. Oh dear. He's falling out of the tree. Well, you did pick the silliest tree to go into, boy. Yes, draped across. Our young leopards are unbelievably powerful, even at only a year old, but they're not always the most coordinated, especially young Hosanna. Look at this, here he comes. Oh, it's not just Hosanna, there's also, look at this. Sorry, hold on 1 second. I think he's going to fall down again. Oh, slipping, sliding, and down he goes. There is his mother and his sister watching his shenanigans with slightly more dignity. And while we have a look at those beautiful leopards, our first question of the morning, Daisy, lovely to hear from you. Thank you for sending through your question. You want to know how many cubs a leopard will have in one litter. It's usually around 2. The average is 2. They can have up to 3 at a time. I have seen 3 leopard cubs before. It is a very tough time for a female leopard. She's got to raise those cubs all on her own. And just look at the bond between these siblings. Shongile on the right, and Hosana, now exhausted from his tree climbing escapades, flopping down and enjoying a little bit of a grooming session from his sister. And at the moment, at just a year old, the bond between the two siblings is still incredibly tight. Now, just a few seconds ago, I heard the whooping call of spotted hyenas, and they're not far away at all. There's a very good chance that our leopards could encounter them, but Karula's no fool. Karula is the mother. She's no fool. She's done this before. So she will hopefully keep an eye out for them. She must have heard them as well if I heard them. But while we were sitting with the family, we heard the whoo sound of spotted hyenas. It could also mean that Karula's hard-won breakfast that I think she's taking the cubs to could be gone. But we'll have to wait to find out as she leads her cubs off to the south. Let's head out to Stef, who is on foot.
Good morning, and welcome to the bushwalk on this absolutely hectic and fantastic day so far. Wild dog and leopard, I can't believe it. You're on foot with myself, Stef and Invertebrate, for this fifth of all the bushwalks, and we are hot on the trail of a bull elephant this morning. We've actually seen him. We've just seen the tops of his back across the trees behind us. He's in this area over here. We don't quite know where he's gone, to be quite honest with you, and that is why I'm around this pan of water. To introduce myself here to you, I wanted a little bit of a barrier between myself and this Ellie bull, which I think is probably around about 50 to 100 yards in front of us, somewhere just here. Now with Ellie bulls, you've always got to watch out. They can be quite sneaky, they can be quite mischievous, and that is what we are nervous about walking into this thick bush, but not too much of a problem. We've got the wind on our side today. He didn't look like he was that disturbed. He looked like he was actually heading out to some food, and that's what our plan is today, is to go and show you a bull elephant on foot. Come with me quickly. All right, now what we are doing is walking through some thick bush in the middle of the Kruger National Park, and from time to time the signal does get a little bit breaky and a little bit sketchy, and that is going to have an impact on the picture. So don't go anywhere. We just got to get away from the bushes and we'll be all right. All right, now while we're looking for this bull elephant somewhere over here, we're going to send you over to Brent with those wild dog.
Welcome back. We managed to catch up with the dogs. I didn't think we were going to be able to. Remember, this is 100% live from the African bush. And if you want to ask any questions about one of the most endangered canids in the world, use the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. The reason they are my favorite animals, they are so busy. They have the most incredible social structure. They're one of the few animals in the world, apart from human beings, that puts the well-being of the young, the babies, above, oh, hello guys, above that of the adult. So they are run by an alpha pair, and the rest of the pack's whole life is to rear the next set of pups. Look at this, they are less than 2 feet from the front of us. I am literally shaking. Look, he's giving us a sniff. I am shaking with excitement. And this pack, oh, they're after a scrub hare. They're after a scrub hare. They've just taken off after a tiny little scrub hare, and they've caught it. They've caught it right next to us. There we go. Isn't this amazing? I know, guys, some of you might find this a bit sensitive, but this is nature. Listen to the incredible contact calls. I'm just going to keep quiet so you can enjoy this. Isn't this absolutely amazing? That was wolfed down in a matter of seconds. A big antelope and like an impala can be gone in under 5 minutes with a pack of wild dogs this size. There are 14 individuals in this pack. Okay, and that's it. They've munched it down. They're on the move again, so do we have to be. And hello, Zach. Zach would like to know, how often do wild dogs hunt? Well, Zach, a pack of this size probably has to hunt sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. I've seen them kill 9 baby impala in a morning, but they will normally hunt twice a day if they catch something big, but if they catch something small like that scrub hare we just saw them devour in a matter of seconds, they can often they'll often kill maybe 3 or 4 times in a single morning, and that's another reason I like them so much. They're just so exciting to stick with, and you will notice there are other game drive vehicles enjoying the sighting with us. They're staying at the various lodges that are around here. I'm currently on Arathusa private game reserve, and I'm just a titter with excitement. There we go, there they are. There's still some argument over one of the last little bits of that scrub hare. See those tails, how they pop up? They've got that white flag. Now that is a following mechanism so the dogs can follow each other while they're hunting, and also when they make a kill they stick those flags right up in the air so the rest of the pack can find them. Now, strangely enough, I've worked all over Africa and I've seen lots of different things. These remain my most favorite animal, and even when I lived and worked in Tanzania, my Swahili name was Mbwamwitu, which means African wild dog, because I get so excited and I tend to run around and move quite quickly. Here we go. Now remember, this is completely unscripted and live from the African bush. We cannot predict what's going to happen next, but the one thing you can guarantee with wild dogs, it's going to be exciting. Now they have a very distinct smell about them. It's a musty, sort of wet dog smell, and a lot of people find it quite unpleasant or disconcerting. For me, it is the smell of excitement. Oh, let's keep going. Oh, there was the luckiest dwarf mongoose in the world. It just jumped, sorry, it just ran across. A little mongoose managed to avoid those wild dogs and go down that hole. One of the luckiest dwarf mongooses around. Okay, let's see where they're going. They're about to go into another thick area, but they're running parallel to us. We like that. When they keep next to a road, it makes it a lot easier for us to follow them. Okay, we're going to try get around ahead of them, and while we do that, Stef has got literally the biggest surprise in the African bush for you.
I've got that elephant. We're about 20 yards away. I tell you, it's a nerve-wracking thing. That bull elephant is busy eating some marulas under a tree. Right, what we're going to do is stand on this Djuma mound. We're in a relatively safe place, but for me, bull elephant and herds of elephant are the most dangerous thing to approach on foot. I tell you, it's so exciting. Now, what I'm going to try and do is not disturb this bull elephant. The reason why I'm whispering is so that I don't carry my voice there. But Norm, you've just asked me how dangerous it is to be on foot with these animals. Very, to be quite honest with you. They've got a fearsome reputation for killing people, and in particular killing people on foot. This elephant, literally 20 yards away from us. Now we're in a relatively safe place because we're on top of this termite mound. And if needs be, we can dance circles around it. Those tusks, if you circle your thigh, that's how thick the tusks are. They're literally as thick as your thigh, and probably about as long as your leg. It's deceptive how big the tusks are. What that elephant's trying to do is get to all the marulas underneath the tree. Just the most amazing thing to be on foot with the largest mammal to walk the earth at this moment. That there is a 10,000 pound animal, and he's coming out of the trees now to say hello. Still completely unaware of our presence. Isn't that just absolutely amazing? Ooh, yeah. I just love being for so long, you'll know that it's very rare that we get this close to a bull elephant. He's just heard us. Notice that head up. He stopped what he's doing, so I'm going to drop my voice tone now. He's now carrying on feeding. So this elephant is really unaware of our presence. And I'd like to keep it that way. Although when enraged, these bull elephant can actually become quite intense. More often than not, they are quite focused on what they're doing, quite focused on what they're eating. And given the terrain, you can actually get quite close to them. We're going to sit here with this bull elephant for a little bit longer. But while we do that, before those dogs run away, off to Brent.Geo.
The dogs just took off again. Welcome to everyone. I've just caught up with them now. I'm just trying to see that they didn't catch anything else. This is so exciting. I love my puppies. And they're being so nice this morning. They're going in an area where we can sort of follow them. Not too thick, not too many hidden stumps. Here we are. We've got a nice big elephant path that they're running. Oh, there they go. There they go. There they go. What are they after? What are they after? I can't see what they're after. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, now they're changing direction and they're heading back up to the west. We're going to try our best. They are so quick. Now what I'm hoping that they do is find a pan. Oh, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get through this block. They're after another scrub hare. The scrub hare just took off. These dogs were jumping to try see it in the grass, but I think it managed to evade them. Oh, sorry, pup. There we go. Oh, another one coming. Okay, and the last of the dogs to cross. See, they saw something. See how they're jumping a little bit higher? In some areas where the grass gets really long, you'll see the dogs actually jump right up onto their back legs. Okay, now there seems to be a bit of confusion. They're going up and down in all sorts of directions at the moment. Now, we're just trying to see which way they're going to go now. Now, what we don't want them to go is head to the west. Which they have been continuously heading west all morning. Okay, we are still with the dogs. They chased another scrub hare. They weren't able to catch it this time. It was a lucky one, unlike that last one. So you would have heard just before we got there, as they sort of devoured and ripped that little creature apart, there was a scream. And it is one of the most disconcerting sounds in the African bush, the scream of a poor little scrub hare. But the wild dogs need to eat, and they're definitely still probably on the hunt. That little bit of meat is definitely not going to sate them this morning. they are still sleeping around us. There's something that's keeping their interest, and it is that scrub hare that escaped. So the puppies, or the young ones, about 8 months old now, they're still fiddling around. And some of the adults might look like they're going to start moving, but we got to sit here now. And as you've seen with these wild dogs, it's literally go, 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 action, action, action. And of course, being live from the African bush, you never know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just so excited because a lot of people don't know a lot about these animals, and they are the most incredible hunters, the most incredible social structure, and very few people know a lot about them, and they're not one of the normal safari animals, and for me they should be the top safari animal. And Sharon is wondering, do animals alarm for wild dogs? Now Shannon, they do not. So impala will snort at a leopard, snort at a lion, but as soon as they see a wild dog, they disappear and try and make themselves as scarce as possible. Now, the dog's hunting strategy is very, very different. Oh, they're off again. Quite a few of them are getting moving. We want to stick with the adults. Let's see if we can get out of here. There we go. Up and on the way. So Shannon, I'm going to get to your question in a second. We just want to see where they're going. They're going into some thickets there. Now, I've got a challenge for all of you out there. I want you to give me a one-word tweet about how the dogs make you feel, or what the dogs mean to you. Let me just go forward a little bit for you, Brian. We got a bit of a back. Let's have a look. A bit of gap for you. Now, for me, my one-word tweet is manic. So on Twitter, one word that describes the African wild dog for you guys. There you go. So as I say, there are other safari vehicles also enjoying this sighting. Look at that. One word tweet. How do wild dogs make you feel? Okay, off they go again. We're going to try to keep up with them. There's a big ravine and in between us, so we're going to try and move around, keep up with them as best as possible. While we do that, let's go back to the other man whose favorite animal is the African wild dog, James Henry, in his most wonderful bush office.
I must say, yes, my favourite animals, and what a morning we've had. Voracious wild dogs on the hunt, devouring a hapless scrub hare, those beautiful leopards which have hardly got a look in, and then Stef, well, pretty much under the feet of the largest land mammal on Earth. Now, I'm going to take you down a little bit to the microscope. Now, this is a voracious predator. This is basically the wild dog of the invertebrate world, and what I would like you to do is guess and tell me what you think it is. What do you think this thing is? I will show you its eyes. It is looking at you now, and it is very much alive. And it has much the same hunting strategy as the wild dog, and there it's rather vicious little chompers. So, tell me what it is. Hashtag Safari Live. You can tell me what it is. My one-word tweet for the wild dogs is going to be savage. Because they are quite savage, but they're also very social and very pleasant. But that's pretty savage, what we saw there with the scrub hare. Now, we've seen them catch a scrub hare. That's not their usual prey. Let's have a look at how they hunt and what they normally hunt. African wild dogs have a fearsome reputation as one of nature's most efficient killers. As dusk falls, the pack warms for the hunt with play, stretching muscles and reaffirming the hierarchy. Dagger teeth, radar ears, and marathon stamina are the tools of the dog hunt. When the alpha male gives the signal, the hunt is on. The dogs trot purposefully between clearings and waterholes, searching for supper. Normally, a herd of antelope. When a group of impala comes into view, heads drop low, and the terrified prey runs for cover. An individual is singled out. This ewe sought refuge in the water. But the dogs were reticent to attack in the deep. As the rest of the pack arrived, the impala became exhausted, and the alpha male charged in to grab her. Once the iron jaws clamped onto the exhausted ewe, it was all but over. While gruesome to watch the pack tear their prey limb from limb, death was quick. Quite unlike any other African predator, the dogs do not fight over food. They share it. Everyone receives a portion. Despite their fearsome hunting methods, Africa's painted wolves display careful gentleness with each other. Perhaps this is why we find them so mesmerizing.
Okay, welcome back. Isn't that incredible? James has got to show you a little bit about how the wild dog hunting strategy works. Of course, it's quite difficult because I'm just trying to keep up with them, and we're doing that. They're right ahead. Remember, live from Africa with the most endangered animal or predator we get here in the Greater Kruger National Park, and 8.5 million acres, only 300 or so of them. There we go. And this is why I love them. And compared to the other predators, they're just so energetic. When they're on the move, they're on the move. They're never really snoozing unless they've got a really fat belly. And they are very, very exciting to keep up with. Well, we've got our first one-word tweet in, and it's from Miniature Mongoose, and the one-word tweet is thrilled. I am thrilled as well. Now I'm going to try thrill my way through this thicket and get... Oh, they're going. That's too thick for me to go through there. I'm going to have to try zoot round again. But they are manic. I'm getting my good workout this morning on my arms, zigging and zagging through the bush. But now from the dogs, let's go back to the cats.
You've been with some of Africa's greatest hunters. Now we are still with the incredible predator, the leopard. She has a completely different hunting approach, and you can actually see that Karula is alert and looking at something interesting. And that's because she's just right now spotted a pair of antelope that are slowly but surely moving towards her. And this is the joy of our live safaris, is that we just don't know where things are going to go. We don't know what to expect. Everything happens as nature tells the story. That's the joys of these live safaris. And I think she's going to play the patience game. She's going to sit there and she's going to watch what is happening. Now, don't forget, while we are watching these incredible creatures, that this is live, which means it is interactive, and it means that you can send through your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter. You've seen the extraordinary process of the wild dogs hunting. You might just have a chance to see the leopard's approach. Now, for now, Shongile is resting out in the branch, so this is the little girl. I know it can get a bit confusing for those of you that are new to this live safari series and perhaps not sure who's who. This is Shongile, the beautiful one, resting out on a marula branch. Isn't she gorgeous? And there we go. A question coming through from Crystal. Good morning to you. You want to know how we can tell the difference between them. Crystal, in the beginning, you don't necessarily get to know the individual leopards. However, we spend so much time watching these incredible cats that we've actually come to recognize them almost as you recognize individual people's faces. It is that easy, and you start to see really unique patterns to their spots. Let's have a look at Karula. Do you want to look here quickly? That would be very nice if you would. Now, the official way, the scientific way, is to look at the top whisker spot patterns. So the top row of whisker spots, or just the spots just above, there you can see she's got 3 over there, just above on her right side. That's the official way. But I find that it's actually much easier to look at identifying features. And oh, she turned her head as I was about to point it out to you. Karula, actually, if you look really closely, it looks as though the spots between her eyes spell the word wow. And I didn't see it at first until it was pointed out to me on a picture. And it was absolutely incredible, because once you see it, you absolutely cannot unsee it. And it becomes very, very easy to recognize individual leopards. So that's the way I do it. Rather than trying to desperately count whisker spot patterns while the leopard's on the move, I've learned to recognize the individual's unique markings. And Karula certainly is unique. She's so untouched and so perfect for a leopard of her age. She's nearly 13 years old. Her ears are almost intact. There's no nicks or cuts. It just goes to show what an extraordinary cat she is. I think she heard those hyenas and she's decided to take refuge up in the marula tree for now. I wonder what her plan is this morning. We don't know. We don't know if she has a kill. We know she came to collect the cubs for a reason. I wonder where she's going to go now. And I wonder if she's realized that she's left her teenage son behind. Right, while we sit patiently with this gorgeous leopard family, I'm sure you're all excited to know how Stef is doing with giants on foot. Let's go and find out.
We've still got this elephant on foot. He's still unaware of our presence. And I just think it's such an amazing opportunity to follow an elephant like this as he wanders through the bush. Now we're still whispering because I still don't want to alert this elephant to our presence. You can just see him standing there. He's probably about 50 yards or so away from us now. He's walked quite a distance from when you were last with me, probably about 400 yards, marching. Now, bull elephant can cover up to 30 or 40 miles in a day. This particular one won't walk that far, but nevertheless, he's putting up a good fight with us. He seems to be walking on down that path, so let's go. Now with the elephant, the most important thing is wind direction. This elephant's coming back. Now, Djuma, you've asked me if the elephants move in packs. They absolutely do. It's called a herd. Generally, a herd is made up of females. Have a look. He's circling back to us. And Djuma, generally it's made up of herds of females and young bulls that are grouped together. There every now and again will be an older bull with the herd. But old bulls like us, round about 20 to 35 years old, they're generally nomadic on their own. We're going to try and stay with this Ellie. I think he's actually got wind of us now where we talked it. But why don't we send you through to James? We'll keep you updated.
We're sitting here with some nyala at the tent. And while not quite the mayhem of the dogs, the, physical threat of the elephants, it is a wonderful touch of the wilderness here to have these beautiful nyala with us. They're feeding quietly, the birds are chirping, and it's always so interesting to me. You know, we get this incredible mayhem that goes on with those dogs, and just around the corner, of course, is this perfect peace with the nyala family grazing quietly and browsing and enjoying the comfort of an African morning. And I'm going to quickly show you where everyone is, because everything is really exploded around the place. Brent is around here. I am an exceptional artist, as many of you will know. That is a wild dog. You can see there it's got nasty teeth. There we go. This is his ears and his eyes. And they are on a reserve called Arathusa, and they're heading down to the south like that. Stef is over here, round about here, with that elephant. There's an elephant. You see that, David? Yes, it's a very good elephant, isn't it? Yes, very nice. There he is. He's on the western fringes of Djuma. And then Jamie is down over here with the leopards, and we'll draw a leopard in blue. I'm not sure why we're drawing a leopard in blue, but that's where they are. So there's a huge spread out of animals at the moment, a massive amount of action going on. The dog's heading south, and I've just heard, probably round about here, I've heard some lions alarm calling. Not lions alarm calling, they were roaring somewhere down around here, and those dogs are heading straight towards them. I don't think they're going to go anywhere near the cats. And we did see over here, we heard the hyenas a little bit earlier whooping away, and hopefully they will stay away from our beautiful leopards. We're going to go and take a short break. When you come back, we'll give you the answers, and we'll see these incredible animals again. Right, everybody in the internet, what a morning it has been. Let's go back to the nyala. You guys don't know how lucky you are to be where you are. You don't want to be anywhere near what's going on with the vehicles. Nor do you want to be anywhere near... Well, I suppose you could be around that elephant. It would be okay. Anyway, I hope you're all enjoying this. I mean, it is astounding how nature has managed to produce yet again for these live TV shows. We haven't had dogs for goodness knows how long. Certainly not on the hunt. Certainly not killing live. The royal family still knocking about here. When I first saw them heading down to the south there, I thought maybe Karula had killed again and that we were going to head off down into Little Gowrie. I think they still might, but we've just had a wonderful time with them during the whole course of this morning. I need to go inside to check something quickly, so you can come with me if you like. Not that you really have a choice, of course, you have to come with me. Ah, what is that? Is that the rover? I think Alex has control of the rover. That's good news. Right, here we go. I'm going to check out what's going on here, and you're going to go back to the leopards with Jamie.
Leopards are doing what leopards do best, which is, of course, looking stunning in marula trees. The most iconic picture when one thinks of leopards is them draped across the branches or the boughs of marula trees. Our little Shongile just went up to go and say hello to Mom, and was immediately and quite aggressively rebuffed. Karula hissed and snarled at her and sent her back down to the bottom part of the branch. She obviously decided that she didn't feel like being pounced on or trying to defend herself up when balanced precariously on a branch. Shongile thought twice about that particular approach. I actually think she was going to go and rub heads with Mom, and Karula wasn't having any of it. She's probably had an incredibly busy night, searching for various things to go and catch and eat. I wonder if she's taking them slowly to a kill, or if she knows something we don't. And those hyenas sounded very, very close, and I've seen their tracks all over this road. Oh, look at this. Look at her hissing. Get off. Get out of my way. Move.
The wild dogs have just started chasing impala right in front of us. The impala's just crossed. Now where's the dog? Did the dog lose sight of it? You got to remember they're quite low, so they do lose sight of them. Oh, it's disappeared in a matter of seconds. We just had the... And you see the dog? Yes, there's the dog. I saw a tail. There's the dog that... You see it, Brian? I just saw the tail flicking. There we go. So it lost that impala. Obviously, as the impala bounced through the long grass. Okay, now which way are they going to go from here? Now we've got to try predict where they're going to go next. Oh, so much excitement this morning, up, down, around, and they've very nicely stayed in areas where we can follow them. Oh, here comes some more dogs right at the back there. I just see that flick of that white tail, that... Okay, we need to move. They're going to go through the Marikeni River, and we're not going to have a signal there, but I'm going to try to get around as they come up on the other side. We should be getting signal back as soon as we manage to cross through the river. So let's go back to the cats with Jamie.
The cats are up and moving the same way the wild dogs are. I wonder what those dogs are going to do next. Shongile is just off to my left. And there's Karula. What's she seen? Hold on. There's Shongile looking down into the drainage, but Karula's just gone off. Okay, let's catch up with her quickly. She looks as though she's spotted something. And before she goes into full stalk mode, let's catch up with her. There she goes. I wonder if it's those Inyala that we... It is that Inyala. It's a big thing for Karula to go for. She's moving from marula tree to marula tree, giving her the perfect vantage point. There is the Nyala, watching carefully. I think... Oh my word, look at this. Just look at this incredible scene in front of us. You've seen the wild dogs coursing through the bush, and now we've got a very, very interesting situation. Leopard up a tree, Karula peering across at the Nyala bull that is staring back towards us, but it hasn't seen her yet. What's going to happen now? This is joys of live safaris. You just never know what to expect, and the Greater Kruger National Park is the best possible place to view incredible African wildlife. I don't want to take my eyes away. I don't want to miss where that Nyala bull goes. There he is. Look at this. She's probably about 50 or so yards away from that Nyala bull. Still a little bit too far for her to launch herself, but she's got the perfect position. She's waiting patiently to see what that Nyala does. Oh, is he going to go away from her? That might work actually to her advantage, because there's a lot of open ground between her and that Nyala. But if he moves into that thick area over there, it actually means that she can creep up closer to him. Up, staying low, close, slinking along the branch, and lying down to watch. Unlike the wild dogs that go barreling off, as you saw with Brent, leopards play more of a patience game. I've followed these 3 leopards before and actually seen them catch something just that they happen to bump into. They are so opportunistic. And you can see her sitting up at the top. Of course, watching her hunt from this position, it immediately begs the question, which we have been asked. And Devil Kill, you wanted to know whether or not leopards will pounce out of the trees and catch their prey from the trees itself. And the answer is sometimes, very unusually. It does happen, and I've seen some amazing stuff of leopards leaping from trees onto their prey, but it's unusual. It's not their preferred method of hunting, and it's very difficult to pull off, and has the extreme potential for injury. So they'd rather slink along the ground and then launch their attack from there. Now, a leopard can move unbelievably fast, over 60 feet per second if it's at full speed, which means that they have to be quite close to the prey itself. The prey can outrun it, and they don't have much in the way of stamina, so they've got to wait. And that, of course, is why they have that amazing camouflage and that incredible technique. Dries, while we watch Karula looking in the direction of that Nyala bull, you want to know whether or not she is strong enough to take down an Nyala bull. She's a small leopard. She's probably only around 90 pounds, give or take. We don't know exactly how much she weighs. Nyala bull is much larger than that, so the answer is potentially not. However, she was clearly thinking about it, and often you'll find that where you see one Nyala, if you look closer, there are more around them. And there's a very good chance that she can see something that we can't, which is potentially a herd of Nyala, and even potentially with babies or with females, and that would definitely be on her menu. A big Nyala bull like that would be a struggle for her. But leopards are incredible. They do amazing things, and they don't read the books, and they don't always behave as we expect them to, often taking on kills that are far larger than we ever would have expected. There's even reports of large male leopards catching and killing small baby giraffe, though you never know. The strength of these creatures is truly phenomenal. Her cubs have molted off. I don't even know where they've gone. There's obviously some wordless communication there to tell them to stay out of her way for now. And while we play the patience game with the Queen, let's head back to James and find out what shenanigans he's up to in the tent.
What an astounding morning we are having. Look. Here we have an idea of why it is that Karula went up the tree and left the Nyala alone. It's much bigger than she is, and while on a very good day, perhaps when she was a little bit younger, she may have taken on a Nyala bull, it's highly unlikely that she'll do it now. Now we have some wonderful answers to my microscope quiz. Thank you very much for sending them through. Zach, you thought it was a moth. No, Zach, I'm afraid it isn't a moth at all. We'll have one last look at it in the microscope, and then I'll reveal it to you. Consulting detective, you were correct. I'll give you your answer just now. Sarah, you said a baboon spider. Holly, a driver ant. Jared, an ant lion. Daniel, is it an ant? No, it is not. And Sir Kentucky, a spider. But consulting detective, it was you who was correct. It is indeed the most terrifying predator of the arachnid world, and that is a solifuge. And I'm going to put it on my hand, and it may well bite me, and then I will be very cross and probably say a bad word. It is going to be released forthwith after this. Isn't it quite astounding? Look at its teeth, and they run around with the most amazing speed, grabbing things in the night. They're largely nocturnal. And this thing will be eating termites, possibly even small scorpions, ants, and various other hapless creatures, a bit like that scrub hare that was taken out by the wild dogs earlier. Now, we did spend quite a lot of time with the royal family this week, so have a look at what they were doing. There they are there. They fed on their delicious meal of impala where we saw them last for a little while longer. Then they played a bit and did a little bit of, well, I suppose you might call that abseiling. They displayed the table manners, leaving a lot to be desired, and the Queen eventually left them for some me time. While she was having a spa day at the mud wallow, this rather unusual and serendipitous scene unfolded. Predator and prey passed within 10 feet of each other, almost completely oblivious to one another's presence. Who knows what would have happened if the warthog had chosen even a slightly different path to the mud. Isn't that amazing? Back at the kill, however, tempers began to flare, and it's possible that Karula is coming back into heat. The appearance the next day of Tungana was a welcome surprise, but Karula and her prince consort have yet to reacquaint themselves. So it's quite interesting there that we've seen that kind of aggressive interaction between Shongile and Karula. We've watched it happen with Hosana as well. She has mated once with Tingana while she's had these two cubs as well, and I wonder if the cycle isn't starting to slowly come towards her coming into a full estrus, is what we call it, when she will ovulate, mate with Tingana, as these other two cubs go independent. Anyway, hopefully over the course of the next 4 safaris we'll be able to answer some of those wonderful questions. Let's head straight across to the highly irascible and highly, highly anxious Brent Smith.
Well, we're a little bit calmer at the moment. The wild dogs have calmed down. They've scattered in all directions. And now there's a few adults here, but I'd say 2 or 3 of the adults are missing. So the youngsters are all waiting here, and you'll see there's quite a few game drive vehicles around. But I have something quite astounding to show you. So since we started following the dogs at the beginning of the drive, there was this grasshopper. And he is sat on our dashboard through the entire pandemonium of following wild dogs through the bush. So that was my cap that came and sat. And he's quite a pretty one. I haven't actually seen one like this wet season yet. Isn't that amazing? He's managed to hang on while we've dashed and crashed through the bush after the African wild dogs. Now, fortunately, now that they've calmed down a little bit, we can actually talk about them because I'm not rushing after them. Now, this is an adult here that's standing there. I just love their coloration, and their scientific name is lichen. Oh, he's got half a tail. Look, he's missing his white flag. Shame. Now, that could have been nipped off in a fight with other dogs or with hyenas or with lions. But the incredible thing is that their scientific name means is lichen pictus. Lichen is wolf, pictus is painted, so the painted wolf. And they definitely do look like they have a stroke of artist's genius in their coloration. They are absolutely beautiful. Now, the thing is, as I was saying about their, it seems like they don't want me to talk too much. It looks like they might get up on the move again shortly, so we will do the same. But while they're still moving not too quickly, I said they've got that incredible social structure. So they run by an alpha pair, and the rest of the pack's whole life is dedicated to raising the other babies. And one of the reasons they're so endangered is that they are very, very prone to canine diseases from domestic dogs, from feral dogs. Distemper and rabies are the 2 biggest threats to these dogs in Africa. Oh, there we go. We are on the move again. Good morning, Brendan, or good evening to you, Brendan. And Brendan would like to, we still got one dog. Brendan would like to know what is the average size of a typical wild dog pack. And it all depends. A nice big pack is like this one is 14 dogs. The biggest pack I've seen was over 30 dogs, but generally you would say between 10 and 20 is an average size pack for this part of the world. Now let's see if we can find a way through. See, they love taking me through these little ravines, and I've got to find a way around, but fortunately we can still see them now. So they might have heard something that caused them to get up. One of the other adults might call. They've got the most wonderful contact call in the world for me, and it sounds something like this. Woo, 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 woo. I call it a woo call. But as they disappear and I've got to get up and get around, let's go to Stef, who's feeding himself.
We've managed to come back to the same tree as that elephant was feeding under and pick up the marula fruit that he was feeding on. And this is exactly the wealth that is the food resource that is in this part of the country at this time. Elephants from all over the Kruger National Park flock into Djuma Private Game Reserve and into the Sabi Sands, where we are now, this section of the Kruger National Park's wilderness area, and that's what it's called. And they come for this. And what you do is they're very tasty. You squeeze them a little bit. It's easier just to roll them together using each other, and you break open the skin, and all the elephant are after is the juice, and all you do is you squeeze it into your mouth. It's the most unbelievably tart, guava-y, I don't quite know how to explain it, but it's just marula. It's just fantastic. Once this elephant has eaten it, he discards it, and in big piles of dung you get collections of marulas with their little fruits. Now inside this marula is a seed that is that big, and inside here is a nut, and these nuts are harvested not only by people but also by squirrels, a bunch of other rodents, and stored for the winter, and they will then store these nuts and use them in the dry period. And so marulas here are one of those keystone species, one of those species where all else hinges on them. Elephant, hippopotamus, probably lion to an extent, just from their ability to just manage diseased animals, and eating them. Wild dog, what a special thing that we've been seeing today. I've been listening in on the Game Drive channel to the chaos that's been around, and it's just so exciting to know that. Now, what I'm busy looking for is a hammer so that I can open the seed for you and show you what's inside. Now, it doesn't always work, so I warn you that there's probably going to be much laughter coming from this, but here we go. Let's give it a bash anyway. Quite often you miss on the first time round. Alright, so you put the seed down on a suitable stick. Now don't forget, we are live. This is happening right now. Using your hammer. Alright, let's see. You obviously got to pick a stick that doesn't break. Alright, let's try this one. Okay, here we go. Come now, stay there. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3. Ah, well. It happens. I tell you. I'll just go back to eating my marula fruit. Alright. Off you go to James, that friend of mine who's apparently lying down in the tent of his. What he's doing.
I am not lying down in the tent. I'm doing one of the most peaceful things one can ever do in the bush, and that is lie in amongst the verdant green summer grass. My name is James Hendry, and you are watching a live safari from the western fringes of the great Kruger National Park. Hashtag Safari Live is how you get hold of us if you've just got hold of, or if you've just joined us. Jamie's been with leopards, Brent's been with wild dogs, Stef is nearly stomped upon by an elephant, but he seems to have managed to get out of that sticky situation. Have a look at where we are in the world. You can see there we're zooming down onto Africa from outer space, into the western fringes of the Kruger Park and onto Arathusa, where those wild dogs are now running around trying to hunt things. A really special morning it's been. Now, I think what we're going to do is take to the air. There we go. That is Drone Commander Connor Teagues, and what he's doing is flying over Jamie Patterson there and Viam, and they are watching that spectacular cat, Karula, the Great Queen, and her two offspring, Shongile and Hosanna. I think they're probably in that very tree, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, you can see them. You can just see the tail there in the middle of the tree. That's probably the Queen herself. She's excellent at lying in trees. I've tried it myself. It's very uncomfortable, I must say. But I guess if you're a leopard, you have to make do. You don't have sort of sprung mattresses and things out here. You can see, I hope you can notice how it's got even greener since we started this safari series, and we're on the 5th, of course, of 8, and we've had a lot of rain since we began the series, and it's got so green and so very beautiful out here. Let's head straight back down to Jamie, the elegant antelope, and find out how Karula is doing.